Oh, welcome. We're live at 11:05.
11:04 and a half.
11:04. We're early today, 11:04 and a half. It's 11:05. It just sounds good. It's the whole thing. We're live at 11:05 on BC, Spirit Cars. And Josh, the voice of Spirit, there he is right there. I can able to see your hand now when you're waving in the parades. Oh, well, that's Josh. I know him. This is Mr. Larry T. We're here. There we go. Larry sends us a bunch of drawings, and he's pretty detailed. Larry, you know what you want, so we want to make sure. This is what Larry wants. Can you see that pretty good?
I got it zoomed in.
Okay, so we want that on the front end. Larry was concerned that we couldn't hit that. So I don't know, you think we did?
Yeah.
Well, let's try. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, kind of here we go. Come down kind of far. You wanted to have a swoopy here so we can still get some of that swoop. Got your headlights. Come focus on these headlights and the shocks. We've done this a couple different ways, but you can see this side.
Yeah, I've got it zoomed in.
Come up over the top, how it swings around. Light bolt on. That's a motorcycle light, bolts onto that. These are pretty nice shocks. I don't know, what brand is that?
I know he got them and sent them to us. I have
Larry,
no idea.
post what brand that is. Those look kind of nice in case somebody else wants to know. We're good, and I've got, right now I just got the grill shell taped up here with some regular masking tape. So when we finish that up, we'll use some high-end duct tape so it don't fall off. So we'll be good to go there. We got some headers on it. Let's check out these headers. There's not a snake on the end of it, but there's some headers. That's our break-in headers. And I know if you don't do a lot of cars, it's kind of hard, but when you break in a motor, it always runs a little hotter, so we have a set of break-in headers. And anymore, we do a lot of injected motors and stuff, so there needs to be an oxygen sensor. So we actually welded an oxygen sensor in there we can put in whenever we do something that needs a computer. But so there's that. I think it's sitting pretty nice. We got the ride height about where it goes. So I think you titled this thing, we titled it steering column today?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about a steering column. I set a steering column in here. Got the column mount in there.
Let me get on the other side here.
Okay. And here's a tip that you might want to use. You want your column to be, so it's comfortable in the car. I'm going to get in here and sit here, kind of see how it sits. We've got the seat down as low as we can get it. I've got pretty good clearance. I can see through there. It's a tilt column, so it's down. It's pretty good. I like it. Get your steering. This is my preferred. I'm cool. Look at me. So we're good. Hope you like that, Larry.
We'll have to get Eddie in here because him and Eddie are the same height.
Yeah, Eddie made an appearance. Fast Eddie made an appearance yesterday, but I don't think we can get him come in today. So say I'm putting my column in here, and I kind of know what I want my column to look like. I know where I want it to go. I drill a hole, and this has already got a toe panel in it, the toe plate or whatever you want to call it. It's a lot more comfortable that way to just ride in it. So I drill a hole. I'm going to drill a hole. I'm going to drill a hole down. I have no idea where it's going to come out over here. I got a guesstimate of where it's going to come out, but I just am not sure. And you can't come out where your steering column and the linkage and everything is going to be blocked by some motor part or by some random thing that's on the side. Take your piece of, I guess you can get any kind of rod. We just have some stainless rod here I grabbed out of the welding shop. If I stick this through, I can stick it through all the way out the firewall and tape it up there if I want, and I'll see where it's coming in, and I can see what kind of angle I need to be. If I need to be at an angle like this or an angle like that. With a tilt column, it's not as critical of the angle of the main body of the column because you can change the angle of the steering wheel with the tilt. But if you're not using the tilt column, it's pretty important you get the right angle. You don't want to have your steering wheel way up or I guess back in the old days, you steer between your legs straight up and down. But this is a tip that I've used a lot of times. So anyway, came through. I like my angle. I've got my column drop just tacked on here to make sure that Larry likes, you know, the height of this and everything, so we can mount that steering drop or column drop permanently a little later. You can kind of see I've got a hole in the floor there. Lots of room. I'm going to poke up through here. So why don't you stay there, Josh, for right now. You can see that through there.
Yep.
And once I get that, I can bed that in and pull the column out, and I'll grind that off even with the floor, and then come look at it out here on the firewall. Now it came up through the firewall. You can see it's a pretty tight fit, but I'll sand this as a PVC 2-inch ID, which is the same as the column that we use in the old GM columns, or 2-inch ID or OD for the column, ID you need for the tubing. We'll just bond that in. Again, I'll cut this off, grind it smooth, finish it. So when the car is painted, all you're going to see is the inside of this PVC tube, and then when you go to install the column, it slides right into it. This is going to be a pretty easy, straightforward. I'll be able to use 2 joints, one on the box. Down on the rack here, I can come up with a joint, come across with a joint here, and just a DD shaft going across. It's going to be a real simple. Sometimes you have to come around and get around, say your motor mounts, or once in a while you'll need to worry a little bit about, you know, clearing your oil filters and the side of the engine, but we're cleared everything. It come through nice and clean. I guess where next is Larry wants to see the whole car put together, huh?
Yep.
So I guess maybe we're just going to paint the motor with his motor in it. So we'll paint the motor and trans and assemble all that. And I'm going to have to paint there's some parts on the brakes and everything. So we'll go ahead and paint all that, I guess, and assemble that whole front end. It gets, what brakes is this?
Wheelwood.
Oh, this gets some really nice brakes and everything. So we'll
Wheelwood
get this
front
front end
and back.
assembled nice, put together. I don't want to have to take it apart and put it together too many times. So we'll paint it. And when we disassemble it for the final disassembly, we can just take it off with the radius rods and the shocks and the spring in the front, wheel that whole front end off of there, tarp it up and wrap it up so it doesn't get scratched up and dusty. Other than that, we're moving ahead a little bit on it. This is not what Spirit generally does. I've described this car before, I'm sure. This is another manufacturer's car. Larry brought it in. It's a pretty nice car, tall T. There's not that many of them out there. 27 tall T. And there was just some areas of detail that Larry wasn't happy with, so we went ahead and we changed out a lot of things. The way the window tracks are, the way the windows are here, the way the trunk is, the way the floor is. We tubbed the rear end and just did a lot on the bottom and reinforced the floor, and I think installed the dash. And I mean, there was just been a lot of things. Then we built the frame for it, for this car. It's just kind of a one-off, and we're just moving towards, like I showed you, with Larry had a picture, this is what he wants to see, and so we've been just moving that way. Spirit, we're pretty much, our focus is building kit cars, giving you the parts and pieces to build the car yourself. I would say that's a good solid 90% of what we do, but this kind of stuff keeps us on our toes. We just stay fresh, and we get to, I wouldn't say we get to keep innovating, but in a sense we do get to keep innovating, and we get your ideas, and it's always good to work with somebody. Today I was thinking this morning, pretty much everybody in the shop's under the weather, just kind of not feeling great. It's nice outside, but a little bit gloomy, windy, but everybody's working on their projects. I mean, they're all had their things going on, but everybody's interacting. Okay, I've had help doing this a couple times, and I helped somebody, and this one is helping that one with their project. The mix of ideas really helps us improve what's going on. If you remember, I don't know if you've seen the cars, depending how old you are or how into it you are, but the old Munstermobiles and the coffin car, and I mean Barris did a lot of nice ones, and Starbird did nice ones, and it was just a lot of great builders back in the day. And don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but the level of quality back then is not even close to what the average guy is doing in their garage nowadays. I'll just put that in skateboarding. I mean, back when I was a kid, if you could stay on top of your skateboard and go down the hill, you were like the king of the skateboarders. Now they do incredible, crazy things, and the same with bikes and motorcycles. I mean, Evel Knievel, it was a big deal for him to jump over a few things. Now they just, at a show, jump back and forth and back and forth. So hot rodding has kind of come to that level now, and it's because we're sharing ideas and we're pushing each other and going forward. So we do like these kind of cars. This is going to be a nice car. We just have to make sure that we look at it. Larry wants this car, I'm sure, to be a top car no matter where he takes it. And that's the goal here. Not that we don't want to do that for everybody's car, but you know, there's a certain level where I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get my car and I'm going to drive it. It's, you know, you go buy a brand new car, there's a standard and a level for that car, but it doesn't make it a show car. So I'm thinking this one's going over the top. People say they have a show car. To me, that means something that competes at the top levels. And hopefully, Larry, I'm sure that's what you're wanting. I'm hoping that's what we deliver you. And you're not just happy with the car, but I'm thinking we're going to make you a car that you're going to be afraid to take out of the garage. So if you can drive it, you can have fun with it, but sometimes when things are so nice, you just get a little nervous about one little tiny ding here is huge, where the car of mine, a little ding here, a little ding there, well, I'll throw some more primer on it and I'm good to go. So anyway, there we go. I got my yellow books here. And I'm sure, Larry, if you're not watching live, you'll be watching by the end of the day, so we'll talk, and you've been talking to Josh. We'll kind of go through. He said he's got me a whole book of ideas and things we got to go over, so we'll do that. I want to keep pushing this one ahead. It was kind of fun to get going on it again, set it up, and there's a few more things I want to push ahead before we need to get the motor and the front end painted, so we'll work on getting that so we can get this thing apart and get the frame at least going together. I think I'm going to pass on the Trump tweet of the day. If you want to know what Trump's up to, you'll have to ask Meryl. She knows him pretty good, I guess, so she had a lot to say about him yesterday or sometime, but those actresses, they're pretty good at acting. So we have Pass It On, and we have the Coffee Break Contemplations, and
You did Pass It On yesterday.
did I? So should we do some Coffee Break
Yep.
Contemplations? I told Josh, this is the alter ego, not alter ego, but the dual me. We're setting it up, and are you gonna help me do some of that video?
Can.
Okay, so I have a passion for gardening. I always have. I just love that kind of stuff. Just some animals and things like that. So we've just set up a webpage, heritagebread.com.
Yep.
That's heritagebread.com, and there's nothing there right now.
Nope.
But it's up, it's there. We've got it, it's moved to our server now.
Yes.
So it's on our server, and I've got a Facebook page, Heritage Bread Farms. And I made my first post yesterday, which was just like, hey, I made my first post. But tonight, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the yard. Oh, there was a point to this whole thing. I'll get to it. I'm going to go in the yard, and I'm going to make a list of 10 things I want to get done this year. And I've got my goats. You maybe heard me talk about my goats, and I've got some chickens, and I'm going to do some aquaponics and tilapia fish, and maybe some heritage seeds. And so I'm going to live my my other passion on a different Facebook page. So I told Josh, look me up some great quotes from Benjamin Franklin. So we got our great quotes from Ernie, the hot rod man here, and we may use Benjamin Franklin stuff for for the other one. And I may use King Solomon too. King Solomon had some pretty wise stuff. And a lot of it had to do with farming and things like that. So we're just going to grab one here. Hey, this is good. This is good, even for my show for the show tonight. So we'll go live. We're going to go live tonight. I don't know if Josh is going to film it, but somebody will film it, and that'll be on the Heritage Bread Farms. Some of tomorrow's happiness can come from memories one can choose to make right now. So we're making some memories here, hopefully. Larry, when you get out there and you get to know the people that are at the car shows, and I don't know, does Larry have a car now? I don't remember asking.
I don't think so.
So he's kind of a newbie to the car world, maybe? I don't know if that he is or not. He's got a passion for cars. I'm not sure what he's done as far as showing. I know he's a good bowler. He's got to be a good bowler. So, Larry, hopefully we're building you some memories here for the future, and get out there and have fun meeting people and talking about not just your car, but life in general. So glad you're with us today. Tomorrow, don't know what we'll do, but we'll be here at 11:05.